Right now, President Donald Trump deploys 2,000 National Guardsmen to L.A. to aid law enforcement as protests over immigration enforcement escalates. Also, activists gather in Madison for the Wear Orange weekend to bring awareness to gun violence and honor victims. And we're following issues for BMO credit card holders. Our consumer reporter, Michelle Renee Quinn, shares why you should read the fine print for the card. That's all coming up on News 3 Now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. We hope you all enjoyed the Tonys. I'm Jalen Banks. We begin tonight on the West Coast as protests in Los Angeles over recent immigration raids escalated overnight as crowds clashed with law enforcement. President Donald Trump deployed 2,000 National Guardsmen to the area to help control the situation. The last time the National Guard was federalized in L.A. was in 1992 when protests erupted after a jury found 4 LAPD officers not guilty in the beating of Rodney King. The National Guard pushing back crowds in L.A. Sunday as protests over recent immigration raids stretch into a third day. Federal officers using pepper spray to disperse the crowds. The crowds began protesting Friday after dozens of people were arrested by federal immigration agents as the Trump administration cracks down on unauthorized immigration. The latest raids instilling fear and anger in many Southern California communities, something we'll continue to keep an eye on. Now let's get a look at your certified most accurate forecast with the meteorologist Blaze Keller. Blaze, we saw some rain today, and as we head into the work week, will that continue?
It will, yes. Monday and then again Wednesday, but definitely Thursday and Friday. We're looking at more chances for showers and a few thunderstorms as well. Take a look at some of those rain totals coming in from the rain this morning, especially there in parts of Dane County, right along the Jefferson County line. Essentially, that's where over an inch of rain is estimated to have fallen over in Rockdale, back into the Stoughton area, about a half an inch, with downtown Madison picking up around a tenth to a quarter of an inch of rain. So those showers came and went. We cleared out. Now we're dealing with a little bit of haze overhead, and we have to get ready for Monday. Planning ahead. It's not going to be a warm day. 60s underneath cloudy conditions with scattered showers, maybe a thunderstorm or two, and winds are going to be out of the west-northwest as our next low pressure system spins through the area. Now, we did have a chance for some severe weather this morning. Thankfully, we didn't see any. We're likely not going to have any severe weather threats on Monday because the atmosphere just hasn't been re-energized between this morning's activity and tomorrow. So that is some good news there. And much like today, we'll see more sunshine as we head further into your Monday mid-afternoon. As I mentioned, Jalen and folks at home, more rain chances beginning Wednesday of next week. We'll time those out in the full forecast.
All right, sounds good, Blaze. We'll see you in just a bit. And you can track the forecast for yourself on the First Warn Weather app. It is hourly planners, road conditions, and even radar. You can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC Weather. Legendary Cuba City basketball coach Jerry Pettigrew passed away at the age of 84. His son Mark confirmed in a social media post on Saturday. Pettigrew spent 60 years coaching Wisconsin basketball, including an illustrious tenure at Cuba City that began in 1971. He is the winningest coach in Wisconsin basketball history, retiring after the 2023 season with a record of 1,027 wins to just 270 losses. Cuba City won 29 conference championships during Pettigrew's tenure. A woman suffered minor injuries after driving into a retention pond off the Beltline following a medical event Sunday morning. Just before 11 a.m., a car went into a pond at the Beltline westbound off-ramp at South Park Street. It appears the driver experienced a medical event and left the road, struck another vehicle, and ended up in the retention pond. Fire personnel rescued the woman whom police say could not swim. She sustained minor injuries and was taken to a local hospital. A 10-year-old child is dead Saturday following an incident involving a boat in Waukesha County. At approximately 10 a.m. on Saturday, the Muskego Police Department responded to a crash at Idle Isle Park in Little Muskego Lake in Muskego. The child was injured in the boating accident and would later die at the hospital due to their injuries. An investigation shows a 74-year-old man with one other person on board struck a stationary boat with 3 people on board, including the child who would eventually pass away. The accident remains under investigation by the DNR with assistance from the Muskego Police Department. There was another deadly shooting in Gaza involving civilians at a food distribution center. Palestinian health officials say 4 more died today near a Gazan Humanitarian Foundation's aid distribution site. Witnesses say they were shot by Israeli soldiers. The army said it had fired warning shots. So far, over 120 people have been killed near the Gaza Humanitarian Organization's aid hubs, but information is largely coming from phone videos that you see here. You can hear gunfire, but no journalists, foreign or local, are allowed anywhere near to verify what is gone so lethally wrong. A skydiving plane with 20 people on board crashed on Sunday in Coffee County, Tennessee, with some 60 miles south from Nashville. The crash happened moments after the plane left the Tullahoma Regional Airport. An airport spokesperson says everyone on the plane survived. 4 people suffered serious injuries and were taken to the hospital for treatment. First responders treated others on the scene. No one on the ground was hurt. The Federal Aviation Administration will investigate what happened. To some more local news, the father of the 15-year-old who shot and killed 2 people at Abundant Life Christian School is expected in court Monday. Jeffrey Ruppnow is accused of intentionally giving a dangerous weapon to his daughter, Natalie Ruppnow. Madison Police Department say Ruppnow killed a teacher and student at ALCS last December. Jeffrey Ruppnow was currently being held on a $20,000 bond. His preliminary hearing is tomorrow afternoon. We'll continue to keep you updated both on air and online, and you can catch the updates live on our afternoon newscast on Monday. Community leaders are bringing awareness to gun violence throughout the weekend. It's part of the national Wear Orange tradition. It started back in 2013 when a 15-year-old girl was shot and killed while sitting in a park in Chicago. Here in Madison, organizers wrapped up their 3 days of advocacy, inspired by the teen with a resource fair. Our Tanisha Shaw has more.
A large gathering at North Sherman Avenue Methodist Church in Madison. Melissa Carr is the lead of Moms Demand Action here in Wisconsin. She was one of several community leaders advocating for gun safety at a resource fair.
So many people have been impacted by gun violence, whether they're a survivor, or whether they've lost a loved one or been witness to a shooting.
As a mom, Carr says she feels unsafe sending her kids to school.
We should be able to go to school and not fear gun violence in those places. We should be able to be free of that. And I wanted to do it for my kids, for all of our kids, and just for all of us.
She remembers the deadly Sandy Hook shooting in 2012 that killed 26 people.
One kid at that time, he was very young, but was going to be going to preschool within a few years. And that was a real turning point for me, knowing that we just absolutely have to do something, and none of us should be sitting on the sidelines.
The work continues for MDA after 2 died at Abundant Life Christian School during a deadly mass shooting here in Madison nearly 6 months ago.
I think it didn't change a whole lot because that's kind of the stuff we were already doing. We want to make sure that kids can go to school and not fear having a shooting happen there. And so, we always hold all survivors and all victims of violence in our hearts, and we, just continue this work.
Moms Demand Action is one of the hosts for Wear Orange Weekend alongside the City of Madison.
Whether you're a parent at that school, whether you're a child who attends that school, whether you live in the neighborhood of that school, or whether you just live in the Madison community and now are concerned that this happened here, it could happen again, and our message is it doesn't have to happen here.
In addition to destigmatizing gun violence, organizers are also giving out critical resources that they say can save lives, like a gun lock.
So often, firearms are left unsecured in areas where there's either children or other people who should not have access to firearms. And when those firearms are accessible, that often leads to tragedy.
Reporting in Madison, Tanisha Shaw, News 3 Now.
Tanisha, thank you. The City of Madison has been hosting this event for the last few years, and they anticipate to have it back next year. Well, it's a bit easier to get your shoes on and go for a run when you know a cold glass of beer is waiting at the finish line. That's why many sign up for the annual Great Beer Run, which took place this morning. The 2K walk and 5K run both end at the Octopi Brewing in Waunakee. The participants were greeted with live music, snacks, and a free pint, which they're able to enjoy guilt-free, having already burned off all the calories with the walk and the run.
Any excuse to come drink a beer in the weekend in the summertime is always nice. So get a little exercise in, bring the dog out, bring the kids out, and yeah, just a good time all around. Start the summer.
This is the 3rd year of this event. If you're a BMO credit card holder, you may want to double check that your card is still active. Our consumer reporter Michelle Renee Quinn shares a call for action case about a longtime BMO customer whose credit card was canceled without warning.
Never missing a credit card payment and always paying off your balance on time, only to find out your card has been declined. That's exactly what happened to Shirley Booker, a BMO cardholder of nearly 15 years. With good credit and consistent payments, Shirley Booker was shocked when her BMO credit card was declined.
I had the card set up for my Nest contract, and they said it was declined.
She called BMO for answers.
They said, oh, it was like 300 people on hold because you're not the only one we cancel.
Booker says she didn't receive any notice of the cancellation until 4 days later. In a letter, BMO cited relationships that do not fit our requirements as the reason.
The last person I talked to indicated I had perfect credit. I paid my bills on time, but no one could ever give me an answer.
Booker reached out to Madison's Call for Action for help. BMO tells Call for Action volunteers that canceling these cards, quote, improves alignment with their business strategy. But again, no explanation. When asked for a comment on the cancellation, BMO says, we apologize for any inconvenience. We wanted to let you know that we have spoken with the customer and had a good conversation with them. We periodically review our card portfolio as a whole to improve alignment with our business strategy. They continue, which sometimes results in card closures. These reviews occur at many banks and are not necessarily reflective of individual customer credit performance. Now, the bank declined to answer further questions about what they look for in these reviews and how the closures improve alignment or what their business strategy entails.
It irritated me because I pay my bills on time, then you got somebody saying that your card is canceled. It declined.
If you find yourself in a situation like Shirley's, you can contact the Office of the Controller of the Currency. The OCC handles complaints against national banks and federal savings banks. Find more information and a link to the OCC attached to this story on channel3000.com.
Michelle Renee, thank you. And as we just heard, Shirley Booker's story is a wake-up call. This could happen to anyone, and yes, even you at home. Hidden in the fine print are terms that can catch you off guard. We'll uncover the sneaky clauses that could be affecting thousands every single day. Our consumer reporter, Michelle Renee Quinn, will be back after the break with what you need to be aware of when it comes to terms and conditions. So stay with us. Welcome back. And if you're just tuning into News 3 Now at 10, Michelle Renee Quinn shared in the previous segment how Shirley Booker's credit card was unexpectedly canceled despite her spotless credit. It's a story that could happen to anyone, thanks to the fine print in the credit card agreements. Now, in the continuing of this story, we'll show you the clauses that could affect you. Our consumer reporter, Michelle Renee Quinn, has the breakdown of what you need to know to protect your rights.
Most of us in southern Wisconsin, like anywhere else, tend to skip reading the fine print, but those hidden terms can really impact your rights. So let's dive into what you might be missing. Forced arbitration clauses make you skip the courtroom altogether. That means no judge, no jury, and fewer protections. A jury trial is a crucial tool for fairness against big corporations, and hidden clauses might make you give up your right to a jury. Watch out for class action waivers as well. Many agreements prevent you from joining class actions, leaving individuals to fight alone, often making it impossible to challenge wrongdoings. So next time you scroll through terms and conditions, remember, you might just be agreeing to hand over your firstborn or promise to dance like a chicken every Tuesday. But in a real twist, Amazon's terms once included a clause about a zombie apocalypse. So whether you're in Madison or Monroe, make sure to read that fine print or you might end up with more than you bargained for.
Remember, these terms and conditions can seriously harm consumers and limit your ability to seek justice. Even though it's tedious, you should always read agreements carefully and know your rights. And you can catch Michelle Renee Quinn on News 3 Now this morning during the week and now on weekend mornings. Let's get a look at your first warn forecast with meteorologist Blaze Keller, who joins us now in studio. Blaze, what should we expect?
We're going to go quietly into the end of the weekend. We had some rain and thunderstorms this morning, and we're in between rain periods with this same system. That next chance for rain arrives on Monday. Probably going to be more scattered showers, but we can't rule out a thunderstorm or two as our next low pressure system spins through the Midwest, including Wisconsin. It'll be a little bit cooler tomorrow as well in the mid-60s. And then we continue to see some rain chances as we look even beyond Monday of next week. We'll remain dry on Tuesday, and then we get ready for what could be a couple days of some rain activity. It could begin as early as Wednesday, but it does look like more of Thursday and Friday, with it all wrapping up by the following Saturday. What's going to happen is a stationary front is going to set up and pretty much lay across I-90. Now, stationary fronts get their name because they essentially are both a cold and a warm front. We got northerly winds on one side and southerly winds on the other, and they're kind of fighting each other, so the front itself doesn't move. But that's a good place where we could see some showers and thunderstorms occur Wednesday afternoon. We'll probably not see any rain on Wednesday, but Thursday we watch as a little bit more moisture sets up along this front. It doesn't really move a whole lot, kind of staying within the I-90 area as we go throughout Thursday. Then eventually those southerly winds win. They push that front northwards and they take some of that rain with it. That also helps pull in our next weather system out of the Dakotas. Fronts act like an extending hand that help pull you from one end of, say, the room to the other. And that's what that's doing with this next low pressure system. It's going to pull it out of the Dakotas into our neck of the woods and bring with it some moisture. So after moving northwards overnight Thursday into Friday, then the whole thing moves south as we go later Friday into Saturday, wrapping up sometime later Saturday night into early Sunday as a high pressure system moves in out of the northeast. So we're looking at probably at least a half an inch to maybe an inch of rain over the next 7 days, likely falling Thursday, Friday, wrapping up on Saturday. An isolated shower or thunderstorm can't be ruled out on Wednesday as that stationary front kind of sets up, but I think most of that rain is going to hold off until Thursday. But we're also going to be dealing with that rain on Monday. You may also want a sweatshirt on Monday because it's going to be in the mid-60s, or a light jacket because it's definitely not going to feel like summer out there. We should be in those mid to upper 70s. We'll be about 10 degrees cooler than that. We do dry out on Tuesday, back into the 80s on Wednesday as that front sets up, and then there's that whole rainy mess Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Once that whole thing moves on out of here, high pressure moves in. That's why we'll be in the low to mid 70s that Sunday, following Monday and Tuesday. Once that high moves out of here, we're back into the 80s, if everything holds true.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't anticipate needing to break back out the jacket in the month of June.
Yeah, you know, we've had frost advisories into June.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's just one of those years.
It's just, you know, it's one of those years where there's a lot of warmer air going up into Canada, and so we're taking their cooler air. I'm not necessarily upset with it. I like these more mild seasonal days.
Right.
But come on now, it is summer. I'm ready for this more consistent 70s and a few 80s.
Yeah,
out
I mean,
there.
just a couple days on the beach, not too many.
It would
but
be
just,
nice.
Just a couple. All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Blaze. Coming up in sports, our Andrew Banstra joins us from TPC for the final day of the American Family Insurance Championships.
On Saturday, Team Stricker stormed into second place in the AmFam Championship. Steve's brother-in-law and teammate Mario Tiziani said you could not have written it any better. But after shooting 15 under par in the second round, their magic ran out on Sunday. After a rain delay, Steve picked up steam to close out the front nine. The Edgerton legend sinks a birdie putt on the par 5 7th. His third bird in his first 7 holes would bring Team Stricker to 25 under. And on the par 5 8th, Tiziani sinks a putt from the fringe, bringing the brothers-in-law within 1 stroke of the lead, which is as close as they would get. Darren Clark and Thomas Bjorn always had an answer, claiming the first tournament title in AmFam history. As for Stricker and Tiziani, they finished the event tied for second place, 4 shots off the lead.
It's frustrating that I'm not playing to my potential, really. You know, my body just isn't feeling that well, and, you know, got some things to deal with, so try to take care of it. And, you know, I still enjoy playing, but I don't enjoy playing the way I feel today. But I thought we hung in there. Like I said, I left him hanging a few times, but he played great.
It's an exhausting week, but when we get out there, we had our head down and focus. But it's going to be cool to reflect back on this, see some pictures. Feedback was great, but massive week for our family. We had a blast.
Stricker said afterwards that he didn't want to make it about this, but did admit he was playing through injury, saying he'll have an MRI later this week. When asked specifically what is wrong, he just chuckled and said, well, I guess that's what we need to figure out. At TPC Wisconsin, Andrew Banstra, News 3 Sports.
Andrew, thank you. A final check of your first warn forecast is coming up when we return. I was just muscle memory. I looked to my right because I'm so used to Andrew.
I know. He is your number one.
Hey,
second.
chill, relax. I typically go sports.
No, but it is.
Yeah, I go sports
we're missing
and then weather.
someone.
Yeah, but he was out on the golf course enjoying it, and we were stuck in here, so.
Yeah, well, you know what? He probably got rained on.
Just a smidge.
Just a little bit, and tomorrow we're going to be dealing with some scattered rain showers as well. 60s for temperatures instead of those nice upper 70s where we should be for this time of year, but just give it one day. We'll be there on Tuesday, and then we shoot into the 80s on Wednesday, and then we reintroduce some rain and storm chances Thursday through that following Saturday.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Blaze. Seinfeld is up next. News 3 Now this morning starts at 4:30.